Lavrov's speech at the UN was full of misinformation, and all that misinformation is designed to weaken the West resolve or to make us think differently about Ukraine or make us think that Russia's the good guy or that sort of thing. So I'm going to talk about five of the most important of these misinformation pieces that he presented at the UN. So let's start with this. We have nothing to hide. We never attack civilian targets. He says that again and again, even though I just spent this morning showing you all the civilian targets that they were attacking. Incidents happen, but we never engage in deliberate fire into the sky. We never direct our drones or missiles at countries located in Europe, at members of the European Union, or at countries of the North Atlantic Alliance. But they are. They're doing. I'm like, he's lying while we see it with our own eyes. What, like, never attack civilians? What do you think Granny's over there? There's this little kid. Do you think that they're actually combatants? Next time Russia says that they don't target civilians, show them this. These are just houses, and Russia's attacking it. I spent the morning talking about it. You can see what they did this morning. Ukraine, to its credit, shot down 95% of it, but there was still a good deal of damage. They're attacking civilians. Okay. Then you have Russian propaganda saying things, well, pro-Russian threads, right? Like Olga Bazova here saying, this is what the FO part of FAFO cycle looks like. FA is F around, find out. Cycle looks like following Zelensky's threats to strike the Kremlin. At this point, Zelensky's mouth is probably the biggest threat to Ukraine. So they're saying that all these drones and missiles going after civilians, it's the find out part. Yeah, you guys are across. Okay, back to Lavrov. Lavrov at the UN once again repeated Moscow's usual delusions. Ukraine should forget about the 2022 borders. Here's the second one. NATO is encircling all of Eurasia, and Germany is re-Nazifying. And if NATO dares to intercept Russian flying objects, it will regret it. Okay, first, I mean, I don't even know which way to start here with this. Encircling all of Eurasia. What? Europe was happily asleep before you invaded Ukraine. Like, you do get that, right? And re-Nazifying, how is it re-Nazifying? Because does that mean that it's rearming? Because it is rearming, but that's because of you, because of what you're doing. Okay, here's number three. Moreover, threats of force against Russia are increasingly being made with accusations that it is practically planning to attack the North Atlantic alliances and the European Union. Russia has never had and does not have such intentions, but any aggression against my country will be decisively rebuffed. Russia doesn't have any intentions. Like, you've got to be kidding me. I'll show you what we're talking about with the intentions and where they've hit in just a moment. We don't attack NATO, Lavrov plays the same old record. Russian foreign minister held a press conference following his visit to New York with the usual set of mantras. He claimed that Russia, quote, has no intention and never had any intention of attacking NATO or the EU, while accusing the alliance of trying to encircle all of Eurasia militarily. And he warns that foreign powers warns them not to touch Russian skies. Everybody, listen to this, everybody has the right to secure their own airspace. What about Ukraine? Because that's interesting, because you're violating it daily. Well, what about what just happened in Poland and what just happened in Estonia and Romania? But if anyone attempts to down any object over Russian territory, the people will very much regret such a violation. Okay, well, let's look at this. Here, Alexander Seymour did an excellent job here. I don't know who Alexander Seymour is, but did an excellent job looking at all these Russian drone violations against NATO, September of 2025. This is just September. Okay, we know about Ukraine. That's not even being pointed to. There was Romania, there was Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, was there Latvia, Finland, Norway, Denmark. There's even something with Germany at the border, or at least at the border of Germany. And then there was a flyby over the German vessel. So Anton Goroshenko put this together. I've put together a timeline of incursions into the airspace of European countries in recent months. Honestly, when it's all in one place, it looks very worrying. Please let me know if I've missed any. Poland, August 20th. Poland, September 10th. Norway, April 25th. Norway, July 24th. Norway, August 18th. Norway, September 22nd. This is all 2025. Latvia. Yeah, I guess there was Latvia. September 18th. That's right. There was a piece of a gerba that was found on the beach. On September 25th, 5 Russian aircraft close to Latvia's airspace, but that wasn't like really big, like crossing over the border in a significant way, like Estonia. Estonia, September 19th, or Romania, Russian drone flew into the country's airspace, or Germany, several drones spotted over. And now we don't know if these drones spotted over this were actually Russian, but look, there's 17 items on this list. Denmark, September 22nd, 25th, September 26th, Sweden, September 26th, Lithuania, September 26th, Finland, September 27th. 17 items on this list. Russia's got its hands guilty. It's blood, you know, I mean, it's the problem here. Even if there might be something on here that wasn't, there's still plenty that was. Okay, back to Lavrov. I debunked this the other day because of the way that he said it. He's trying to play fast and loose with the terms, and I know that he knows what he's doing here. He knows what he's doing. Arabic is not banned in Israel. Hebrew is not banned in Arab countries and Iran, but Russian is banned in Ukraine. Russia is not banned in Ukraine. Russian language can be spoken in Ukraine. It is not an official language. That's what he means. So he's saying banned in 2 different senses, and you're not going to play that game with me. That's not, no. Okay, so if you're going to be consistent with that, you just look this up on ChatGPT. Iran's official state language is Persian, Farsi, as established in the Iranian constitution. Other languages are spoken by minorities, but they're not official, and that's what he's talking about. He wants Russia to be an official language in Ukraine, so it's banned because it's not an official language. That's not pretty cool. Like I know what he's doing here, and that's just terrible. Okay, so now those were the top ones. There were more than this, but those were the top 5. I didn't want to do this too much. Lavrov and the void. At the UN, the foreign minister gave a speech for the chairs. There weren't many others willing to listen to this. If you look around the crowd, there weren't many in the audience, but it doesn't matter if there weren't any in the audience because he's speaking so that it gets carried in the news, and he knows that as well. Had Ukraine implemented its own April 2022 peace proposals, which Russia had agreed to, Ukraine would have been within its 1991 borders minus Crimea and Donbass, says Lavrov. Except that had Russia actually lived up to and followed the Budapest Memorandum, what would have happened there is Ukraine would be in its 99 borders, including Crimea and Donbass. So it's Russia's the aggressor from the start. Like Russia's the problem here. Okay, let's shift gears to the second big story. Moldovans begin voting in key parliamentary elections, facing a choice of 2 paths, continuing toward joining the European Union or veering toward Russia. Look, honestly, 2014, had they veered toward Russia, there would have been no upheaval in 2014 and then again in 2022, because what Russia wanted to do was just simply have a puppet government that would do its bidding. And because the people in Ukraine chose that they wanted to follow their own path, more toward European integration, Putin couldn't handle that, and that's what was the proximal cause of the war. So Moldova, they're trying to take it over politically instead of by force. Maya Sandu, unscheduled address to the nation, says they're trying everything they can, from vote buying to bomb threats. Only your honest votes can save the country. Go vote wherever you are. Let's show them that we're stronger than their tainted money. Sandu, Russia wants to turn Moldova into a base against Ukraine and the EU. Russian stakes are very high, which is why it's pouring resources into Moldova's elections. This isn't just about us, it's about the war in Ukraine, she says. We know that Russia is capable of causing great harm and is striving to control the Republic of Moldova in order to use it against other states. I think that's probably fair. Now, the pro-Russian Dodon calls for protests to prevent Moldova's authorities from annulling the election results. So what results are not in yet. But the leader of the pro-Kremlin bloc, Igor Dodon, announced that his supporters should come to parliament tomorrow to defend the victory. The ex-president, an open admirer of Putin's policies, said that he voted for a return to normal life. What he calls normal life is abandoning the EU and NATO, course pursued by Sandu. So this guy's a big Putin fan, and he would be going the other direction. Now, there were fake bomb alerts reported at polling stations in multiple cities, in Geneva, Rome, Bucharest, Asheville in the United States. These are polling for the Moldovan elections, for the diaspora. Wouldn't it be nice, says Gary Kasparov, not to have all this crap going on all over the world all the time? Sabotage, assassination, propaganda, election interference. If there were actual punishment for Russia and the Putin regime, it would stop. Yeah, the proximal cause of most of the mischief in the world seems to be Russia. Now, the elections, as I just checked this just before we started, the results aren't in yet, or they're not fully in yet, but Moldova's pro-EU party has 40% of the votes, with 28% of the votes counted. So it could swing pretty wildly. We just don't know. Looks like it's, I'm cautiously optimistic. Okay. Meanwhile, Putin is spewing this. As for our message to the ordinary citizens of the US and Europe, do not believe that Russia is your enemy or even your adversary. Russia is your friend. For decades, we have done everything to strengthen our relations, and we are ready to continue doing so in the future. Wait a minute. You've done everything to strengthen your relations, and we're talking about what? I was just showing you this timeline, or this list of incursions over here, and you're saying that you've done everything. Russia, I'm not sure I'm quite following it here. So at any rate, here's Putin saying this kind of thing. I just don't believe him. Okay, Russia has refused, and by the way, neither does Trump, it appears. He's sent different signals. Neither does Vance. Listen to this. Russia has refused meetings with Ukraine, even with Trump's participation. U.S. President JD Vance said, according to him, in recent weeks, Moscow rejected both bilateral talks with Kyiv and trilateral meetings involving Trump and other U.S. officials. Yeah, he's not trying to get there. He's not trying to go to some kind of meeting and have to actually do something. Here's JD Vance. Listen, you might actually agree with Vance here. Listen to this.
Our view is we want peace here. We've been actively pursuing peace from the very beginning of the administration, but the Russians have got to wake up and accept reality here.
Whoa, who's got to wake up? Because usually you're talking about Ukraine has to, and that's shifted where Russia has to wake up and listen to and get in touch with reality.
A lot of people are dying. They don't have a lot to show for it. How many more people are they willing to lose? How many more people are they willing to kill for very little, if any, gain in the military advantage on the ground there? I think
the number would actually probably curl your hair, JD. They're willing to do a lot. Okay, let's keep going. There's a lady here walking past a monument of Lenin that's just been put up. She says, "Glory be to God. A Lenin monument has been returned to Sverlovsk region." The 9-meter Lenin, removed from Central Square last summer after a public poll, has been reinstalled at a new location. The woman crosses herself before the monument and thanks the Lord. To cross the like Catholic or Orthodox crossing themselves. When told, but he destroyed churches, she replies, "No big deal. He believed it in his soul." Now that Lenin's back is a time to bring back ration cards and concentration camps too. Watch, she'll cross herself. She sees this. Oh, look at that. It's great. A Lenin statue is back. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, it's weird. It's just so weird to see Russia authoritarianizing. It's not becoming the Soviet Union again. It's something different. It's more like authoritarian than it is anything else. Okay, before I get to this last thought, I want to say thanks to the Mike7117, a colleague, a YouTube member. That's my shout out. And here, I'll leave you with this. This is my stepladder, and it's kind of a sad story. I never really knew my real ladder. All right, my friends, thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.